All right, doctors, welcome to today's weekly live stream. My name is Mark Slater, and welcome to the Prime Spine Consulting weekly live stream. I'm here every week for the most part. My name is Mark Slater, been a chiropractor focusing on personal injury since 1999. It's a long time. I've owned my own practices, I've sold practices, I've purchased practices, purchased a practice here in Atlanta, Georgia. I don't know if you can see out there in the distance, the beautiful Atlanta skyline, kind of right here. But we're doing this live stream outside today because usually in the July months here in Atlanta, Georgia, you could fry an egg on my forehead, but today is pretty mild, so we're gonna do this outside. I've been in my office all day. So as I said, I'm Mark Slater, and I help doctors get more personal injury patients without using paid ads, by hiring marketing liaisons for your practice so that while you're busy in your practice, you have somebody in the field every day representing you, your brand, your business, creating relationships, nurturing those relationships, and getting you personal injury patients. So, like I said, I've been in this personal injury space since 1999, doing things, all kinds of different things. Things that worked incredibly well, things that were horribly wrong. And I've created something for my private clients that helps them get PI patients without spending $1 on digital ads. So the theme of today's live stream is what mindset and hockey can teach you about personal injury marketing. So a month ago, and by the way, hey Tim, hey Steve, hey Kevin, welcome to today's live stream. Give me some likes, loves in the comment section. I'd appreciate that. And if you have a question, please don't hesitate to ask. So about 2 or 3 weeks ago, the hockey playoffs ended. The Stanley Cup ended. The Colorado Avalanche beat the Tampa Bay Lightning for the Stanley Cup championship in the NHL. Now, to win the Stanley Cup championship, you have to win 4 7-game series. So you have to win 16 games in a row, and they're usually playing every other day. And I don't know if you've seen NHL hockey. It is brutal. It is rough. It is violent. So these guys are playing through their limitations. Their limitations are injuries, pain, ligament tears, meniscus tears, double AC joint sprains. And they're still going out there every day and playing hockey. So what I train my doctors to do is take daily massive action in spite of your limitations. Well, the good news for you is your limitations are not sprained MCLs, sprained ACLs, torn menisci, lumbar strains and sprains. You don't have to deal with any of that in your personal injury marketing, but you may have to deal with bruised egos, rejection, and frustration. Those are your limitations. They may hurt mentally, but they don't hurt you physically. These guys, the NHL players in the Stanley Cup playoffs, not only are they dealing with physical pain and physical limitations, but if you don't have the mindset of pushing through all those limitations, you're not going to win the Stanley Cup. Tampa Bay almost did it 3 years in a row. They lost. They won the past 2. They lost to Colorado this past year. But your limitations are just being mentally tough without the physical limitations, without all those injuries that you can go out and market to attorneys with. Okay, so that's kind of where it's the same. There's limitations. The mindset of a hockey player in the Stanley Cup is to play through all those injuries and have the mindset of mental toughness because somebody's out there to take your job. Now, their goal is to win the Stanley Cup, and they're paid millions of dollars. I get it. Your goal is to get PI patients. There's no trophy involved, but there's something better. There's a monetary reward. And in personal injury, it's usually a lot better than a cash paying patient's reward and the insurance company's reward. I just saw a post today from a doctor. He got audited by an insurance company, and because he had PT in his office, The insurance company said, well, the PT and the chiro treated on the same day. So Blue Cross Blue Shield went ahead and took $70,000 right out of his account. It may have been $700,000. I forgot to, I didn't see where the comma was. Whether it's 70,000 or whether it's 700,000, that's a pretty nice chunk of cash that they just took right out of his account. But in personal injury, no one's looking over your shoulder, telling you you can only do this a certain amount of times. You only do this a certain amount of times. They'll do that at the end, but you just have to, validate and justify your care. Okay. So the mental toughness of marketing in personal injury, it's not that hard to market these days. So let me tell you what we're talking about. We talk about three main pillars of marketing in my program. The first pillar is having a social media plan, not just posting content. That's not it. But it's creating the relationships with the people that can send you personal injury cases, right? Relationships with the attorneys. Let the attorneys spend all that money. Just let them do it, because you can't compete with them and their ad spend. I don't want to say none of you can, but most of you can. I don't want to say none of you. What I'm saying is these lawyers are spending $100,000, $200,000 per month in digital ads, radio, TV, billboard marketing for personal injury patients. But they do not have a case unless they have medical records, documentation of injuries caused by the accident, and your reports and all the notes. So without the doctor, there is no case. Without the medical bill and the medical notes or chiropractic notes, there is no case. So create the relationships with the people that can send you cases. There are thousands of attorneys in your state. Well, I have some new clients talking to me about why is that important in my state? Attorneys 100 miles, why do I care about an attorney 50 or 100 miles away? Well, I'll tell you why you should care. Because in 2022, we're in a digital society. Business is being done digitally now. I'm on a Facebook live stream. You may be doing Zoom calls with attorneys. And that's one of the secrets about living in a digital society. And the pandemic, it helped us with our marketing because it taught these attorneys how to Zoom. They've been doing Zoom depositions, Zoom trials, Zoom court for going on 2 years now. So if you learn the skill of reaching out to them through your social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and send them a specific message, sending them a message, asking them for a date. And the date could be a Zoom call or a lunch, but Zoom calls are faster. And you can have a Zoom call with an attorney 100 miles away from you in a different city. Because again, we're in this digital society where these attorneys are marketing all over your state. So in a patient who may have had a car accident a mile away from you, who lives a mile away from you, may have seen an attorney's ad from an attorney's firm that's 100 or 200, maybe 300 miles away from where they live. So if they hire that attorney needs to know who the trained doctors in personal injury are where the patient lives. Because the attorney isn't going to recommend a doctor to them 300 or 200 miles away. I mean, how can a patient go 2 to 3 times a week for chiropractic treatment or get the care that they need? Well, the short answer is they're not. So those attorneys hundreds of miles away from you need to know who the personal injury doctors are in your town. So not only do we market in our backyard to the attorneys that are there, to the attorneys that you may have met over the past few years or however long you've been practicing, but now you can have a system and a plan to systematically, daily reach out to 1,000 attorneys in a month, 1,000 with a message, right? And we do this through messengers through the social media platforms, whether it's Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, Messenger. And the reason that we do this, I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen real quick because I want to show you this graphic. Messenger has a 85% or 90% open rate compared to email. Email has about, this is high. I've talked to some doctors, they do have a 20 to 25% open rate, but an industry standard in email, business emails, typically has a 15% open rate, which means 8 or 9 people out of the 10 you send your email to don't even open it. So my clients are using methods that have a higher chance of success. And social media messaging does that because all these attorneys are on this thing 24 hours a day. And a lot of times they don't look at their email till hours after work, or they have staff members that look at email. So my clients are doing things that move the needle of their practice that have a higher conversion rate, right? We want people to answer your message. Get in a conversation. Messenger is conversational. You can go back and forth really quickly and ask questions. And at the end, you can say, hey, let's hop on a Zoom call, or when can you get on a Zoom call, or when can you have lunch? And you see how a Zoom call, you could do 2, 3, maybe 5 of those a day, especially on a Thursday if you're off or you don't work on a Thursday. You can only eat lunch once a day. So it's a faster way of getting personal injury patients. And it doesn't cost you anything, just a little of your time. But we can maximize that time if you knew exactly what to say, how to handle their objections, how to influence them to use your practice for their injured clients that live or work within a reasonable distance of your office. Because if you don't want a client, well, you want the client, but a typical injury client is not going to drive 20, 30 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week to get care. It's just too far. They're especially not going to do it in Atlanta because traffic is murder here. Okay. So every attorney, well, let me say it this way. These attorneys, their geographic location doesn't matter anymore because they're emailing or texting DocuSign contracts to their clients or to their potential clients. And if there's a settlement at the end of the case, they're mailing them a settlement check. Some of these attorneys never see their client face to face. So you, as the doctor, your geography matters. So these attorneys need to know who are the doctors trained in personal injury that know how to handle a case, that know how to quarterback a case. What I mean is, if you can't get them well in 30 or 45 days, do you have relationships with other medical specialists who can help this patient? It's a team-based approach, right? As a chiropractor in personal injury, we need to be on a team. You're a teammate with the attorney, and by being a good teammate, if you can't get the patient well in a reasonable amount of time, or they're still checking 8, 9, or 10 on the pain scale, you need to make a proper referral to a medical specialist to help and do what's best for the client. So the first pillar is we have a social media strategy that you do every day, where you can reach out to 250 attorneys and other medical specialists who can send you a case. 250 a week. 2 paramount pillars in this program: massive numbers and consistency. You do this every day, right? Massive numbers and consistency. That's how you grow your personal injury practice. So you have a social media plan. The second pillar is you need, or the offices with the most personal injury patients and have the biggest personal injury practices have a dedicated personal injury marketing liaison. Somebody that's in the field, walking into urgent cares, law firms, doctors' offices, MRI facilities, but creating relationships with the people that can send you personal injury cases, putting you on the map. And what do I mean by the map? Let me share my screen again and show you this. Every attorney that I know has a Google interactive map. It looks something like this. And this interactive map shows the attorney who all the chiropractors are in the city that he has or he knows take personal injury patients. All these little red marks, those are chiropractors that the attorney has relationships with. The little blue marks, those are the medical specialists. And this is a snapshot, but if the attorney was to roll over these, it would pop up a little pop-up that'll show, the name of the doctor and the address and the specialty. Same thing with the medical, neurology, orthopedic, whatever, PT, or what have you. So the goal is to get on this map of every single attorney in your town, in your city, in the city next to you, the city 100 miles away from you. The goal is to eventually let every attorney in your state know that you focus on this type of work so that you can get on this map. So that if the attorney has a client that lives or works in this Lilburn area of Atlanta, well, this is the chiropractor he would send them to if they needed chiropractic treatment. And this is possibly the medical doctor. Maybe this is an ortho neuro. I can't tell here because, again, this is a snapshot, but you get the picture. The doctor's geography is important, but the attorney's is not. Let me say that again. Your geography is important because you need to be within a reasonable distance of the patient. But the attorneys don't have to be because we're in this digital market now. So reaching out to attorneys far from you is something that you probably haven't thought of. Okay? Is it hard? Yeah, at first. Is it difficult? Yeah, at first. You know what also is difficult? Playing in a hockey game with a broken foot. This is Valerie Nichushkin, I'm sorry, plays for Colorado. He had a broken foot. Here's the crack in his bone, in his tarsal bone there, right? He had to, I'm sure they got injections, all kind of pain relief methods, whatever, to squeeze his foot in that boot and go out there and win a Stanley Cup. Here's the good news, folks. You don't have to do that, right? Again, your limitations are possibly fear of reaching out, not having a plan, scared that you might get rejected or they'll say no. Well, here's a little secret. Who cares? Because there's so many of these attorneys that want to meet you. You don't need everyone to like you. You just need some. So when you have a process of reaching out to a large amount of attorneys every day and getting some feedback and getting in those conversations, and then you do that again and again and again, day after day after day, it stimulates what's called the compound effect. The compound effect, book written by Darren Hardy, editor of Success Magazine, the compound effect says small little actions done with consistency lead to big results down the road. So if you're sending out messages on social media, introducing yourself to attorneys, asking for dates, and getting their business, and you're doing this every day, well, in the first 30 days, you might get 5 or 6 new PI patients. You're doing this with new attorneys in month 2. Those first attorneys in that first month are sending you that 5 or 6, and then your new batch are sending you 5 and 6. So that compound effect, by you doing these little actions every day, lead to big results down the road when you incorporate massive numbers of people you're sending messages to, and if you're consistent. That's the compound effect, and that's how you're going to grow your practice. So that's one of the parts. The second is having your marketing liaison also doing this work in addition to you sending out messages, because now it's even more messages, and having them go out into the field, walking in the law firms, meeting those front desk people, meeting the support staff, meeting the paralegals, the case managers, and all the attorneys in the firm, and taking notes on them. So when they go and follow up a few weeks later, the next month, they don't have to say, what's your name again? Or don't do that. Take notes, have a system. And in my program, we have a system where we don't forget a thing. We write everything down. So when we follow up, we walk right in and we hit the ground running where we left off last time. Okay. So the first strategy is having a social media messaging strategy. Number two, hiring that marketing liaison to get in real conversations in person. And also their job is to get you dates with these attorneys and other medical providers. When I say dates, Zoom calls, lunches, I say dates because I like to think of it like internet dating. I met my expert at internet dating, met my wife on Match.com. But when you have a liaison, your liaison might be awesome. Whether it's male, female, doesn't matter. You want the most professional, buttoned up person that knows personal injury, we can train them in this program. But when you have a person representing you, your brand, and your practice, setting up more lunches and more Zoom calls for you, that's more patients for your practice. Massive numbers and consistency. So what I was going to say, backing up a little bit, attorneys may love your marketing liaison. Love when they come in, bring cookies and food and bagels and all that. But ultimately, these attorneys want to meet you, the doctor. They want to know who's treating their clients. Can they trust you with their clients? They're going to ask you about your documentation. Tell me a little bit about that. Tell me about your diagnoses. So here's a little hint. If you want to be a commodity chiropractor, what that means is you're just going to be like everybody else, a commodity. But if you want to be a non-commodity chiropractor, you have to figure out your point of differentiation. What makes you different and unique than all these other doctors trying to get their business? All these other doctors reaching out to these attorneys and trying to get their business. What's your point of differentiation? Is it your diagnosing skills? Is there a certain service or modality that you have that others don't, that benefits the patient in personal injury, that really makes you stand out? What is it? What's your point of differentiation? What is your X factor? So that you can share that in your messaging. And then the third pillar is this communication with these attorneys. What to say, how to open up that conversation, how to get them to respond to you. And when they ask a question, I already know what they're going to ask for the most part. How do you respond to them if they have an objection? Or if they say, no, that's not how we're going to do it. Or, we already use somebody else, or we don't use chiropractors, or yeah, we already have an orthopedic surgeon, a spine surgeon that we use for our patients that need that. There's ways to handle those objections. So your communications are key, right? And going back to this analogy about NHL, playoffs, and how marketing is a little the same, their limitations are external, meaning they get injured playing these games and they're playing through all this pain. Your limitations are internal. Your mindset, whether it's fear or procrastination or laziness, those are your limitations. They're still limiting you from your success. But it's okay to have fear, and it's okay to be scared. But you know, it's also okay to have courage and confidence. And when you have the tools and the scripts that are proven to work, and you use those in your conversations with these attorneys, whether it's in the field with your liaison or whether it's messaging them through your social media platforms, have the courage and have the confidence to do that. Okay, so that's what I wanted to share with you today in this live stream. How you can compete in this market without going broke by just taking daily action and being consistent in social media and investing in somebody that's trained to go out into the market and walk into MRI centers, law firms, doctors' offices, and help you grow your personal injury practice. And then knowing what to say, when to say it, and how to say it, and how to handle those objections. I've heard every single objection that attorneys throw out there. So if you know how to handle all those objections successfully, remember, we don't want to argue with these people. These attorneys, they're graduates of argument training graduate school. We don't want to argue with them. We want to handle their objections and just ask better questions. That's how we handle objections. Okay, so if you're interested in learning more, type hockey in the comment section below, and I'll reach out to you and we'll set up a 15-minute phone call, just a 15-minute chat where I can go a little deeper, maybe answer some of your questions, understand where you are currently in your personal injury journey. Are you just starting out? Are you a seasoned pro? You're getting 100, 150, and 200 PI patients a month? Yeah, I can help you too. Because what I will show you is different, most likely different than what you're currently doing. And if you want to get the same results, just keep doing the same thing. But if you want to get some different results, do things a little differently, right? And differently is meaning massive numbers and consistency using the power of social media and digital messaging. Messaging on social media, it's powerful and it works and can accelerate your growth. So if you want to hop on a 15-minute call, just type hockey in the comment section below. I'll send you a link. You can click on the link. You can schedule it whenever you want at your convenience. And let's just have a chat. And if you want to learn even more, we can hop on a Zoom call after that chat at your convenience, or I'll show you a program. share real world examples of how this works, and show success stories of doctors that are in my program attracting personal injury cases at a lot higher level than when they started with me, right? Some of the doctors in my program are on their second and third marketing liaison because this program is about action. It's about action. So type hockey in the comment section below. I'll reach out to you for a 15-minute call, and we'll see where you are in this personal injury journey, and I'll share some things that can help you grow your personal injury business. So I want to thank everyone for tuning into today's live Q&A. Let me just check something here real quick. Thank you very much. Yeah, awesome. We do this at 4 o'clock Eastern every single Thursday, right here in this private Facebook group for doctors specifically who want more personal injury patients. So we'll see you next Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern. Again, I'm Mark Slater, chiropractor for almost 25 years, all in the personal injury space. I'm here to love, give, and serve, just like they taught you in chiropractic school, right? Love, give, and serve to your patients. I'm here to love, give, and serve to you, because I figured something out, and I was working privately. I was working with a private spinal surgeon, and I just resigned because I knew I had something here that could help everybody, everyone who wants more personal injury patients. That's a doctor, chiropractor, PT, orthopedic surgeon, neurologist, any provider in the PI space. If you want more PI patients, let's hop on a call. And maybe you're not a good fit. Maybe I'm not a good fit for you, but at least you took a chance and you had some courage to type hockey down there in the comment section and get on a 15-minute call with me. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. It's a free call. I'm just here to help. So have a great week, everyone. We'll see you here next week at 4 p.m. Eastern for our weekly live stream right here in the Facebook group. Have a great week, everyone, and hopefully we'll talk soon. I'm Mark Slater with Prime Spine Consulting.